Hey everybody, welcome to the ETE Conference 2024. It's my privilege to be able to kick off our event with what's new with ETE. Every year we get to sit down and decide what did we do over this last year and what are we doing this upcoming year that our faculty at Utah State need to know about, right? What is ETE doing to benefit our faculty in their professional development? And we gather all that information together and we throw that in a presentation here. And we use this as an asynchronous session to promote our ETE conference that we're having this year, August 14th at the TSC on Logan campus. I hope to see everybody there at that event. If you don't know, my name is Shelley Arnold. I'm the instructional coordinator for ETE and have been for several years. It's my great privilege to be able to communicate what we do and how we do it with our faculty and get you the kind of resources that you need. Jumping right in. The major thing that happened to us this year, among some other little things, but the major thing that happened is ETE is no longer just ETE. We are now the Center for Empowering Teaching Excellence. The whole process that Travis Thirst, our director, and the provost Larry Smith walked through of getting faculty permission through the faculty senate, through the administration, through the board of trustees and the board of regents to get ETE to officially become a center, meaning that they recognize that the mission of ETE is aligned with what the university is trying to do here. So congratulations for all the effort that was put in by our director and the provost, along with everyone else and the faculty senate members who supported us along the way. So thank you all, and we will keep you informed about what that means moving forward. If you haven't noticed, it also means we have all new logos and new images all along the way, so I hope you like the tree, and we'll explain how that plays in to what we do in just a little bit. Also, every year ETE has a changing of the guard for our faculty committee. This year we have 5 of our faculty committee members retiring, some of that have been with us for a very long time due to their role within the faculty committee. We have Amanda Dillerman, who's retiring. She was head of our SOTL subcommittee and worked with all of our SOTL scholars on their roles and their research within the program. So thank you, Amanda. We also have Nate Troutenveen, who was in charge of our Explorer subcommittee. He worked with our graduate students and tried to get them more connected with ETE professional development. He did an amazing job reaching out to our graduate, our GPCs and our graduate school overall. We have Sunshine Brosey, who was part of our community engaged learning liaison with that committee. And we had Jason Olson. Jason Olson has been with ETE as long as I have as part of our faculty committee. He was on the faculty committee overall just as a plain member of the committee and then became an assistant editor and then editor. And he is retiring after about 5-6 years as being part of ETE. So he is retiring as editor of JEET. And we're sad to see him go, but we're happy for his replacement as well. And then we have J.C. Sheen over in social work. He has been part of our faculty committee for the last 3 years, and this last year he was our faculty committee member chair. So he not only ran our faculty committee, but he also spoke at our executive committee with ETE, with the provost and all these different things to advocate for professional development for you. So thank you all for being part of ETE faculty committee. And with the changing of the guard, with the outgoing, we also have the incoming. So our incoming members, and not all of them have roles yet, but we're gonna figure that out in our first meeting in September. We have Stacy Bevan, Tim Chinette, Nichelle Frank, who's going to be taking over as the editor of JEET. She has been the assistant editor the last several years, and she will become the editor now. We have Katie Krause, and then Sarah Tulane, who has served as part of the faculty committee for the last 2 years, is stepping up to take over J.C. Sheen's role as faculty committee chair member. So thank you all for volunteering your time and contributing to professional development that we have at ETE. This last year, ETE also had a major step in our publishing wing, which was before ETE's editorial board was comprised of members of Utah State, people on ETE, city members, but very localized to our subcommittee of publications that we had within ETE. Because ETE, or the Journal on Empowering Teaching Excellence, is becoming more recognizable, more reaching farther, being downloaded more, all these things, we wanted to add additional credence to it. We wanted to add additional let's say, authority that goes along with it. It's not just something that Utah State is putting out, but it's something that is reviewed and given input by multiple different facets. So with that, we decided that we were going to create an editorial board that comprised many different people with many different backgrounds. We created faculty rights and responsibilities for what these people would do, how they would go, and this was developed over the last year. With that, we have many new editorial board members that are involved. So beyond ETE, so besides me, Travis Thurston, the director, Neil Legler, Erica Finch over in the library, these people who are very much involved in the publication of GEAT. We have several members that were approved by a publications committee to become the first real editorial board of GEAT. We have Joanne Weaver, right here from Bowling Green State University. We have Amy Denoise, and she's from University of Central Florida. If you don't know, this is Karen Dejan Khan. She is the Emeritus over from World Languages. She's also going to be an editor for our open book series. We'll talk about that. We have Chris Garrett from Brigham Young University. We have Aicha Rochdi, hope I said that right, from Utah Valley University. And then we have Elena Taylor, who is also from Utah State University. All of them were voted on and approved through a publications committee, and they run a 2-year stint in this as well. They meet quarterly from now on, and they are going to do a lot of the approvals of different articles and decide on the direction of which GEAT is going to go. So all of these members, we are thankful for their contributions. They've already helped index and advance the publication already, and it's only been 6 months. So thank all of them for their contributions, and you can find their information on the GEAT website. Jumping right into the GEAT website, we are on our 8th year. So we're on our 8th volume within Empowering Teaching Excellence, and our featured article this year has been using an interruptive case study to engage undergraduates, and this is from Hall and Startsky. Kelsey Hall, who is part of Utah State University, and on average, we have less than half of our publications now are from Utah State our authors overall, or contributors. We have a lot of people outside of Utah State, which is amazing and great for the publication in general. But if you're ever looking for an area to publish on your teaching professional development, on your scholarship of teaching and learning, please look into GEAT. We do open submissions all year round. And then we just push it either the fall or spring, depending on the editorial process and what that looks like for you. But as of right now, we've had over 15 issues. Again, we're in our 8th year, our 8th volume. We have over 117 published articles in over 188 countries and over 68,000 downloads. Something that you'll see during this presentation is we have our QR codes over in the corner. So anytime you can stop, you can scan the QR code. It'll take you to the website. They'll give you additional information here. Okay. Next up is we have our open book series and the changes we have there. And not so much of the changes we have here, but more so with what we've done this year and what you can expect this coming year. So this last year we came out with 1 book, which has been odd. That was always our goal, that we would only do 1 book a year, but we've been doing 2 the last several. But this last year we did 1, which is Teaching in Generative AI. This has been nominated for a scholarship or a award at the POD conference, Professional Development and Higher Education, at their conference. And this was published with Beth Beisery and Travis Thurston as editors. This recently came out, and as always, our open book series is available through PDF, or you can read them directly online from the website. Our upcoming publications, we have open educational resources for and as assessments. That's going to come out this fall. It's projected to come out this fall. It's in final editing stages. And then this new call for proposals, which is due mid-September. I think September 15th, but it might be a day or 2 before that. Again, QR code will link you right to that. Is documenting teaching excellence. So in the vein of what ETE does in our ETE professional development and the role that we have at the university is help you document teaching improvement. This book will be focused on the best practices and how to go about doing that. Like I said earlier, we talked about the editorial board. Karen Dejan Khan is going to be the editor of that book, along with Travis Thurston as well. So to get more information, if you want to submit a chapter, learn more about what you can expect, hit the QR code and you will see that there. Our student collaborative teaching, this is not new. This is something we've been doing last several years. I do want to say that we did get recognized at the T4L conference. Our Scots went directly themselves, not me or Travis, but our Scots went to T4L and presented at the conference and got a lot of great feedback from that and a lot of recognition. So I do want to mention that. So Autumn, Jensen, Kinsley, and Athena, I want to call you out for that. Beyond that, there's not a lot that has changed in this program. I do want to remind everyone who's working on the master teacher, you have to do a Scots review or peer evaluation to earn this. But I do want to say here that there's two things that you should know about. If you don't, is that they do a Canvas review. They'll go in and check navigation, which a lot of students have issues in navigation, saying it's too complicated or they don't know it as well as like we do as instructors. So getting their viewpoint from a Scots review is a really good idea. The second thing is they do focus groups or surveys. A lot of instructors didn't know that, so they're just trying to be like, hey, can you just review my course? They can actually work with your students, with your permission and your help to get feedback on specific things you want feedback on. They do surveys all the time. They collect, they compile that data, and then they give it back to you. While they don't give you the raw data, we keep the raw data, we do compress that data and compile it for you in a report. Peer evaluations. Last year, we renamed our peer review process that ETE took over to peer evaluations. We felt that was more suited to what we were trying to do at the university. We weren't just saying, hey, we're just checking this off the box. We actually want to give you critical and good feedback. The biggest change that we have here that we implemented this year is we confirm the fact that there is a final report that you're going to get through peer evaluation. So when you sign up to be a reviewee and a reviewer, now in that form, you're going to agree to not only use the documentation that the reviewee wants to do, but you're also going to agree to doing this final step of making a report. Because a lot of instructors, though they want your critical feedback about their teaching, they also want something that they can put in their P&T packets or whatever it might be that shows that they actually did this, that there's a box check off that they need to do. So that's probably the biggest change to this program overall. ETE Professional Learning Pathways, ETE 10. I love ETE 10, I work on this all the time. The major change to this is name change. It is no longer ETE 10. As we've come up with new certificates and new micro-credentials, which I'm going to talk about, it was pertinent for people for the name to change. ETE 10 means a lot to people at ETE who have actively participated and created it. However, when it says I have done ETE 10, on a CV or on a promotion tenure packet, that's not really something that another person would understand. Therefore, the name change became important for a lot of reasons, and now it's called ETE Professional Development Pathways. The name is very clear on what it does and what it doesn't do, so there's our name change. If I keep calling it ETE 10, my apologies, I've worked with it for 5 years, and I'm gonna need a second to change that out. What's changed in our professional development pathways? What's changed here? Well, we got a lot of changes. This last year, Sarah Tulane, along with the ETE 10 subcommittee, beyond just changing the name, made sweeping changes to the entire pathway. First off is we have a new certificate. Last year, Travis and I and the ETE 10 committee worked with the provost office, specifically Harrison Kleiner and Janet Anderson, to create a whole new certificate. So it's a supplemental certificate. It's called Teaching for Student Success, and this will be geared towards new faculty, but don't worry, if you have already even earned all the way to your master teacher, you can come back to earn this specific certificate. This will be focused on the Utah State student and what kind of resources and things instructors need to know to succeed here in teaching. A lot of badges associated with this is like your syllabus matters. You can see that under the new badges tab, or student communicating with students, student resources, student instruction. There's specific badges that will be associated with this. Also, we have new micro-credentials. This is a brand new thing. For several years, we have instructors coming to us and be like, hey, I have my master teacher certificate, what now? Like, well, you know how to do professional development. It's a habit for you. That was our point in ET, so just keep doing that. But then we got more and more people being like, I like earning badges, I like earning professional development, I like having it focused in this way. So over last year, we have developed things called micro-credentials. They will be after the master teacher, and they are focused. They are not just, hey, like a track, you're going to pick these 5 badges here, and then you'll have another 5 to figure out. No. Micro-credentials are set 5 badges that you will have to complete to earn that micro-credential. Right now, we have 1 micro-credential. It's called the Accessibility and Usability Micro-Credential, and it is our pilot one to try to figure out what works and what doesn't. It's 5 implement badges, and they're associated with making your courses usable and accessible friendly, okay? You can learn more about what is the details of this and what is expected of it in the ETE 10 Canvas course, so we'll show you that in just a second. But those micro-credentials can only be earned after you earn the master teacher. That doesn't mean along the pathway, if you do some of those badges, that it's not going to count towards both the master teacher and accessibility and usability. But what we're saying here is there's no possible way you can earn the micro-credential before earning the master teacher. Okay. We have 2 other micro-credentials that will become online in the fall. We have student academic support and student mental health support. We're working with different collaborations on those as we speak to try to get those up and going for the fall. So everyone who's earned their master teacher can start being like, ooh, I want to know more about helping students supporting their mental health and what resources available, what that looks like starting this fall. Okay. With all these new changes and new certificates and micro-credentials, we have a slew of new badges that are associated with that. Right now, we have 206 badges. I know. Every time I add one, I'm like, oh, that's another one that I got to explain. Again, 206 is not that many if you think of all the tiers and how many badges fall into each of the tiers. So you just cut that by a third, which is still kind of high, but it's not as high as it's going to be by the fall. So we have accessibility basics and all of these that have to do with the accessibility and usability badge. And then we have a lot of these other ones that have to do with the student success badges or student success certificate as well. Okay, those are changes to the pathway. Now let's talk about changes to the Canvas course. And I'm going to jump between here and the Canvas course to show you the difference here. So first off is check your progress. So last year, Badger credentials, and I bet you the name's going to change again. Badger, the one that has the learning integration program we use, that has the pretty pathway and the pretty badges and all of that, right? They updated last fall. What they did is they merged the Pathways button, which had the visual representation of the entire pathway, which everybody liked, and they merged that with the Badges tab, which nobody liked. Positive. One benefit that came from this merge was the fact that, was that before that, each person would have to go, and each individual would have to go in and run the Badges tab to update their program. So if they had it logged on for 2 months and they wanted to see what badges they had earned in that time that I reviewed, they'd have to go in, click the badges, and let that program run, and even maybe do it a second time for it to be accurate, right? By having this Badges tab and doing their update, you no longer have to do that. When you click on that, it shows the most updated, it updates at least once a day for you, so it shows the most updated badges that you have at that time. What it does now, instead though, is with that pathway button, and this is where I'll hit escape for a second, and we'll just get discard them. And we will click, here is when we click on our check your progress, see that pathways button's gone, we're gonna click on check your progress. It still takes a second. Oh, I gotta leave student view, sorry. So it shows all of the badges. This is not where you should go to find badges, ever. However, when you scroll to the bottom, this is where we have our Pathways button now. So when you click here, this is the visual representation that everybody likes. This is what used to be the Pathways button. It no longer is, okay? So how do we get there? One more time, we're gonna click on the home button. We're gonna check our progress. We're gonna give it a second for this to load. This doesn't even take as long as it used to either. And then scrolling to the bottom to ET Pathways. Okay, again, this whole thing is clickable for you. And mine looks different than yours, but. Okay, going back to our PowerPoint. Next big change is ETE Professional Development Pathways. It used to be called ETE 10 Professional Development Pathways. If it's just a name change, I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother even showing it to you. But it's been updated to reflect all of those changes to the pathway that we were seeing before. So again, we'll escape out and pull this up. So back on the home page, we're going to click on ETE Professional Development Pathways. And I hope it's clear. We moved things around, we put in new images and things like that. So here's our updated pathway that we have, and then we have what's required for Teaching for Student Success, Explore College Teaching, Teaching Scholar, and anytime you see one of these little arrows, you can click on them and it drops down, tells you more about what's happening in the different tracks, and then Master Teaching Certificate. Okay, we also have a new section for micro-credentials found down here where you can find the details of what we were talking about before with them. And then under construction, I just love that. Okay, so there's the new changes here. It should be more clear, more images, more explanation. It's just a little bit longer because I don't have as many tabs open here. Okay, last but not least, changes we have is we have a submit a badge. I've been getting feedback on this for some people for a while, saying it's just hard to find things overall. So I went in, and when I added all the new badges, over the 15 badges I had to add this year, at one point I just stopped and said, let's reorganize this and address some of the concerns that we had. So we reorganized and add badges, new badges. Going back here, clicking on our home page and our badges tab. So they're still broken into the different tiers like they were before, but the breakdowns are really different. So you see campus events, what you'll see being held, city workshops, but then we have on-campus collaborations, who we work with, and their badges associated with them. Specifically, the usability accessibility badges have their own breakout. And then the other section, while this is a little bit long, is not nearly as long as it used to be. Okay. As we have more categories and we're working on them overall, we'll continue to break them down so that they're easy for you to find. All badges can be found on this page besides decommissioned or retired badges because you can't submit for them, so we remove them from this page. Okay. Okay, so those are changes that we've made to the Canvas course. Go in there, play around. If you have a hard time with navigation, as always, contact me. Okay. Collaborations we worked on over the past year. ETE is not a unit, a center of its own. We work within the environment of Utah State University. We are always here to make collaborations with the different units across campus so that we can provide you the best professional development we can without wasting resources or doing redundancies. So over last year, we worked really closely with the School of Graduate Studies. Mike Morales, shout out to you. We were invited to be at new student orientation, which we were again this year. We also did 2 events with them to promote teaching within graduate students, and that had a great effect. So congratulations to all of our Explorer people who earned their badges, or who are going to earn their badges on the 14th. And thank you for Mike Morales, Nate Trout-Vane, and all of the people working in the ETE Explorer subcommittee. We also worked with the Disability Resource Center. We work with them specifically to do the accessibility and usability micro-credentials. So Christopher Phillips and his team, thank you very much for helping us with that and overseeing a lot of things there. We also worked with the Office of Provost and Executive Vice President Jan Anderson and Harrison Kleiner on those badges, as well as many other things we worked on them with this year. Last but not least, we are starting a collaboration with the Division of Student Affairs, specifically for our new micro-credentials of student academics and student mental health support as well. So yay to everybody for becoming involved in ETE and for developing this professional development. Okay. Last but not least, as you can imagine, with the name changes themselves, but with all the changes that we're making in our programming and the new people coming into our office and all of that, our website has significantly changed. We had 2 faculty members review our website before we got started who were kind of familiar with ETE, but not familiar with ETE. And we asked them, hey, go through this. What's confusing? What doesn't work? What works for you? And through that, we have made hundreds of changes. We have made hundreds of changes to make the navigation simpler and more direct for you. The big things that we've changed is we have an events tab specifically with a drop-down box that explains everything. Similarly with programs and publications. We have an overview page that explains exactly what ETE does in each of those arenas and then what you can expect from them. Because we got a lot of feedback of, you hold a lot of events, how are they different? Those tabs explain how they're different. What used to be the ETE 10 tab is now the Professional Development Pathways, and we've broken that down specifically here as well. It's much easier to navigate. It answers all of your questions. There are a lot of new images that were created for the website that now we're using in presentations or when we talk to instructors as well. That's been really helpful to us. So there's been a lot of changes, and I hope that you guys benefit from them as well. It's easier for you overall. Okay. Well, thank you. Those are all the updates we have. If there's anything else pertinent, always look at those bi-weekly announcements. I look forward to seeing everybody at the conference. Last year we had great numbers. I hope to see you guys again there. Lunch is going to be great. And I'll see you all on the 14th.